Hey, welcome to Scream Queens Horror Movie Road Trip Podcast, a special off-road mini-sode.
Ah!
I think this is actually off-road mini-sode 4?
Yeah, or 3.
I think it's 4.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, 3, 4, yeah.
Something like that.
You'll see it
By the time we've actually put this up, we'll have figured that part out, so this will be moot.
Don't you fret. But hey, happy fall, y'all.
Oh my gosh. It's truly been an amazing fall, and as we record, it's not yet Thanksgiving time, so there's still so much of fall to enjoy.
We have fall, the rest of it. We've got the holidays coming up. I mean, we're in the thick of the holidays, but we have Christmas coming up next month. Hanukkah, New Year's Day.
Then we got like Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and we've got a lot going down all the way up to the New Year's, I guess, and beyond.
But we've stayed pretty busy. We've done a few haunted houses. We went to LA. You'll hear our California episodes coming up, in episodes 46 and 47 are both from our California trip, where we did lots of awesome fall stuff, like worked on a Nightmare on Elm Street episode, a Birds episode. We did Hollywood Horror Nights at Universal. We did a whole Weird Manson dinner and Cielo Drive trip.
Yes, and also, if this is your first time listening to us, I'm your final girl, Justine, and
I'm
that guy
survivor
who just jumped to, everything else. That's your soul survivor, Mr. Josh.
That's us.
And welcome. But yeah, we've been traveling the California way, and we got a lot to talk about when we touch on that. But what we want to touch on is
Joe Bob.
What we're doing.
Joe Bob at the rodeo.
This very moment, what we just witnessed with our eyeballs is.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible. We've been here in Oklahoma City this evening in Historic Stockyard City. That's where cows run around and shit. It actually smells pretty dank tonight. And by dank, I mean it smells like shit, okay?
Yeah, it's like a little shit nasties. Because there's...
Cows must have been running down the road.
Mm-hmm. Lots and lots of cows.
They literally run down the road. It's the stockyards. But in the stockyards, we ate a wonderful dinner earlier at Famous Cattleman's. Mm-hmm. Then we walked around the block to the Rodeo Cinema to see Joe Bob Briggs do his one-man show. Tell us the title of that one-man show, Justine.
I believe it's like How Rednecks Saved Hollywood.
You believe it is called?
Well, yeah. I actually am not holding the notebook right now, so I don't know. Since we're off-road Minnesotan it, you've got the notebook. I have the recorder, and we're just lounging in our chairs.
That or not, we literally just walked out of that show. Yeah. You should know the name of it.
I'm sorry. Yeah. It's not that I think, it's that I know. It's How Rednecks Saved Hollywood, and
witnessed 2.5 hours of genius.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I would say he pretty much convinced me that Rednecks did indeed save Hollywood. And he did spend 2.5 hours going down that rabbit
hole. It was
an
in-depth analysis of the word redneck and its place in pop culture, where it came from, how we've gotten to this point, what we think of rednecks now, what they used to be. But to kind of set the scene, it was at this really cool art house theater. A lot of things are made out of brick here in Oklahoma, so it was this, I would say maybe from the 20s or 30s brick theater that's been renovated, and now,
definitely been updated.
Now it's like an art house theater in the stockyards of all places, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I mean they're playing like Almodovar right now. They play the art house stuff, the good stuff, the foreign films, the documentaries, all that.
Just showcasing the fancy smancy stuff in the OKC areola.
And one thing you might not know about us, we love horror, but we love fancy schmancy stuff. We love a good foreign film or documentary.
I do, and I love witnessing it here in the stockyards with every Wrangler spur-wearing country man and woman just walking, setting the scene. And it's awesome too, because it's Joe Bob Briggs. Should be in the stockyards.
We were literally seeing people with spurs
Yes, yeah.
That's
But
what
he
we were
is
hanging
like
out
the
of.
Texan cowboy
No,
representation.
I'm just setting
yeah.
the scene.
So
We
it's
were
fun.
in,
It was fun.
Yeah, fun.
And like before the show started, you know, he's over there. We walk in and he is signing away, signing autographs and signing merchandise. And it's like, well, hey there, bud. Saw you last time in May when we went to Frightmare. How you doing?
He had a good merch table too. It had like all kinds of shirts and posters and all kinds of memorabilia with Joe Bob Briggs' face slapped on it.
Mm-hmm. And I guess this is a time for us to go down memory lane with Joe Bob.
Yeah, we kind of had a few drinks before we got there at dinner, so we were like ready.
Hashtag feeling ourselves.
We were feeling ourselves. We were feeling Joe Bob. I mean, we're always feeling Joe Bob. Here comes we of course go and settle our asses in the front row because why not?
Oh,
There's already a lot of people there, and the front row's empty. I'm like, why are people not trying to sit up as close to Joe Bob as they can?
There was just like one other group that was sitting there. And
they were playing hilarious like redneck theme music videos, like to set the scene, to get you ready, getting you in the redneck vibe tonight.
And obviously it's ironic because it's Joe Bob and he's showing these and everything, but you can tell that the people that have made these music videos, that was just them.
Mm-hmm. They were just redneck.
Hardcore redneck life. Every music video, like in the title, had redneck. Whatever song, whatever artist was being. I mean, like I don't know them. It's very niche. Very genre not into, not what I listen to. But it was fun. Mm-hmm. All the same.
And then here comes Darcy. She comes and sits in the front row, just right down from us, a few seats. So, of course, the 2.5 hours I keep looking over to see what she's doing. Sometimes she's on her phone, and sometimes she's moisturizing her lips. And I'm like, oh, my God, you're the best. You love Halloween 3 and H2O also. Let's hang out.
Yeah, if you've watched any of the Joe Bob Briggs on Shudder, the last drive-in, Darcy defends herself. And
for y'all that don't know, she's the male girl. Darcy the male girl on Shudder's version of the Joe Bob Briggs show. the last drive-in. Last drive-in.
Yes, and she's awesome.
Which we've watched almost every episode, if not every episode.
Pretty vamped up, always.
She's
Love it.
A beautiful, busty lady.
Gorgeosity.
Who loves horror, is kind to her fans. She's the best.
And then he comes out.
They were just blowing our mind tonight. I mean, he takes it all the way back to what, like the 1600s?
John Knox.
John Knox.
He takes it back to the 16th century.
Apparently, John Knox was the first person ever referred to as a redneck. And that, goes all the way back to the UK. Apparently, most rednecks came from Cumberland, UK. And he takes it from, like, Cumberland to where they first settled to where they would have traveled, how they headed out west, and how a lot of those people, they headed south, then they headed west, so that takes you all the way to like Texas and Oklahoma where we are, and about
and why rednecks are just saturated in the South.
And they're most rednecks are Scot-Irish and Presbyterian. Mm-hmm. He dogged on the Presbys a lot tonight.
Yes, yeah, or like he also dogged on like Baptists and Methodists, but mainly that he was just trying to like convey that like the hillbilly, like what did he say? All rednecks are hillbillies, but not all hillbillies are rednecks. So hillbillies are where
I think it was the other way around. All hillbillies are rednecks, but not all rednecks are hillbillies. Yeah, not all of them are from the hills.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But all those in the hills are rednecks. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. However it was said, it was like that. And so rednecks, here we go. Saving Hollywood heavily in the 60s through the 70s.
Well, basically how he takes it to, the 60s and 70s, there were all kinds of exploitation movies and a lot of weird, like, trying to imply underage shit. Like, there's a lot of weird, rapey kid stuff.
Child bride.
Like, a lot of these, like, Appalachian child bride, they're, and of course, Deliverance was mentioned at some point in this whole thing.
Yeah.
In this conglomeration tonight of, like I said, just his genius. He talked for 2.5 hours. We can possibly remember all of it. And we're not here really to recreate his show and to tell you details.
You need to go see
You
it.
need to go see it. I know there's a few more shows at the end of the year, like, God, I think I saw something like in Provincetown or something. So check it out. Maybe there'll be some more shows. It's apparently been a hit. He was just in Tulsa the other night. He said he had a great crowd in Tulsa. Last night I guess he would have been in Tulsa. And then...
Tulsa's a city in Oklahoma that's about, I don't know, an hour and a half.
Not too far from here.
Yeah.
Hour and a half, 2 hours.
City. Like northeast. So those are our big old cities here in Oklahoma.
And then he just cruised down Route 66 and came to Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City. So definitely enjoyed like every drop of it. His humor, he is definitely what did you say just the other day to me about how, his favorite or his fans are those that live in the South, but
he said his fans are those that live in red states but didn't vote for Trump.
So take that for what you will.
Maybe that applies to you, maybe it doesn't. But it applies to us.
Yeah, for sure. And enjoyed just watching him lecture in a way. It was almost like being back in college and hearing somebody like defend their thesis. Like he has a definite idea of like rednecks saving Hollywood. He's got the proof in the pudding.
Yeah. It was a big bowl of pudding, too.
Pudding proof.
There's lots of pudding and pudding proofs and proofs in the pudding. You know what she said.
Whatever I said 2 seconds ago. It's late. We've had drinks.
Well, and one of my favorite things is when he talked about how real rednecks didn't have slaves. He's like, why do you think West Virginia? They're like, they're rednecks. They moved, but they succeeded from Virginia because they didn't want to be part of it. Kentucky, like a lot of these areas. He was like, they were too poor to own slaves, and they didn't like the slave owners because they were entitled assholes who own people,
Yeah.
Like, terrible.
They're the uneducated group. They're poor white trash. Rednecks.
They didn't truck
I
with
say
that
all
shit.
that lovingly.
But basically he comes to the conclusion that Rednecks Saved Hollywood because now they're the only group that's PC to still kind of hate on or joke about and you don't get in trouble, He talked about, how it used to be cool or okay, like in the 80s, everything was about like the bad guys were always Russian or somewhere from the Soviet Union because it was the Cold War, but then that became on PC and then around 9/11, everything was Muslim terrorists, and then how that, of course, has become on PC, and how now it's really just rednecks. Rednecks we're allowed to make fun of, and it's okay. And I say, by God, yes.
Yeah.
Rednecks can take a joke.
They can, and I just watched like 20 minutes of music videos where they were real proud to be rednecks,
a redneck,
and to be like just no hoity-toity. They just are what they are. One of the songs, like this country lady was like, she was a product of her raising, so forgive her for her like crassness and the way she might belch or fart in front of you. She ain't no lady. She's a cowgirl.
Like, my husband loves my skid marks. And my undies. I'm a redneck.
I'm a lady, redneck,
Skid
no
marks,
lady.
bitch.
She was hashtag sorry not sorry. That's what she was like. Oh goodness, it was fun. Of course,
it was a big night.
Surreal because even though
I'm still like processing it.
Yeah, and we did see Joe Bob and met him and had things signed and got pictures and all that stuff.
Yeah, we were more
fans
of
Frightmare.
Fans from afar tonight. We made sure to sit up front. We cheered, we laughed, but yeah, we didn't really have the time or money tonight to like get a bunch of merch and take pictures and do all that again. We have work in the morning.
Yeah.
Like bright and early. It's nearly 10 o'clock. I got to get up at 5.
And we just came back from our California trip, so we might have spent up our vacation monies already. And
So, yeah.
but that was one of the first things he asked too in the audience. He wanted to know, do you have a Shudder account? If not, you need to. And are you watching me on Shudder? If you're not, what are you doing in here? So
I mean, he's an icon. He's been a huge part of the horror community since the 80s, down in Dallas, writing for the newspapers, and then on USA and TNT in the 90s. I think there was kind of a period in the 2000s where if you brought up Joe Bob, it was purely nostalgic because he wasn't around anymore. Hadn't heard from him in a long time, but I'm loving this resurgence from the last couple
Thank
years.
God for a streaming platform.
Yeah, I'm glad they brought him back because we wanted him back, and it's obvious he's breaking the internet. His first round of shows, he broke the damn net, y'all.
People want to see him.
That shit crashed.
I'd love for him to come back again and do a whole nother show and
I think he'll be back on Shudder. I mean, he had those awesome shows for Halloween, and they called it season 1, and I think the intention is that he will be back. Yeah. I think it's honestly been greenlit, it's happening. He will be back eventually. I just don't know when.
Yeah, but we want to see. I just love listening to his take on any horror movie.
Don't always agree on it. Like tonight, he called my all-time favorite movie Nashville artsy-fartsy, and he talked about how Nashville still hates him for it. It's well, no, Nashville hates him for it because they felt like they were being made fun of in the movie Nashville, but Robert Altman's Nashville is fucking amazing.
Yeah, he gets his digs in, and it's cool. I don't always have to agree with him on things, but listening to somebody else's take on horror is fun when it's all in good fun.
And intelligent. It's fun and intelligent. It's knowledgeable. He really paints a picture in this 2.5 hours of redneckdom about, it's how from mom and pa kettle in the 40s and 50s to just how
all the exploitation,
it's always almost been exploited,
and then kind of the fear mongering of,
and with the Beverly Hillbillies in the 60s, how they've always kind of been made fun of, or it's always been something lurid. They're never just rounded out as real people in pop culture.
Yes.
They're always a stereotype or something to be made fun of, and a lot of times they should be, but
they're also a fish out of water in a show. Their etiquette isn't what everybody else is in the city, and so it's easy to make fun of. But
if you're a redneck, be proud of it. If you're not a redneck, make fun of rednecks. They'll be cool.
Yeah, they know how to take a joke. Thank goodness for them.
And it's not a group that's really been marginalized or exploited to a bad degree. They've done it to themselves.
Even that Foxworthy guy, he's you're a redneck when
they play along with their culture.
Yeah, and it's in a very loving way. So and almost thank you in a way for the rednecks. Because we just sat through 2.5 hours of learning that they really did do a lot for Hollywood. And, he points out a lot, especially for horror at times and Deliverance and other movies where rednecks are straw dogs, where rednecks are painted as just terrifying murderers.
The remake of Straw Dogs.
Yes, the remake of Straw Dogs. Terrifying murderers that are also not accepting of outsiders, and
And the fun thing too is that tonight wasn't really even just about horror. He dipped into horror with Deliverance and a few things, but it was just altogether how it saved cinema.
Yes.
It was just movie history, which I love, film major here, so I just love that kind of shit.
And he put in a lot of clips from films we have never seen. We got to see some fun posters I've never seen my eyeballs on.
She's never seen eyeballs.
Never.
So, yeah, guys, we're tired. We have 2 great shows coming up for you. In just a couple weeks or a week or so, we'll be dropping our Nightmare on Elm Street episode just in time for its 35th anniversary.
Oh, guys,
which was a week or so ago. Then in December, we have our Birds episode from when we went to Bodega Bay. So look out for those. I'm sure we'll also have another mini-sode sometime during the holidays or right after. You never know. We try to do at least one a season.
You never know.
We don't have real rules about these minisodes. You get them when you get them. Okay.
Check us out, screamqueenspodcast.com.
And go give us that 5-star rating and a review.
Yeah. On
Do
whatever platform you're listening to us.
Need you help us. Help us help you.
Help us help you. Help us help everything. Yeah.
It just helps.
Everything is everything, right?
Helping helps.
Love you guys. Happy fall.
Bye.
Peace out, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts.